Okay, got the stream going. About to start recording episode 2 of Direct Sports Daily. Uh, Let me see. I got this set up. Can't really see the record button, unfortunately. I'll figure out a better setup to this eventually, but now this works. Okay. Got it going, and let's get started.
You're listening to Direct Sports Daily, your source for a fresh new take on all the latest headlines from the world of sports. And now, here's your host, George Bennett.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Today is April 4th, 2017, and UNC, they just won the title last night in what was honestly the most boring, game ever. I've never been that bored by a game with a national title on the line, and it was a close game and everything, but we can't understate how much the refs just took the entire wind out of everyone's sails with that one. It was pretty bad. For those of you who didn't watch it, there were fouls galore. Twitter was blowing up. The memes were on point with it. It's like some people were posting, I'm just sitting here on the couch, and I think I just picked up 4 fouls. The refs were not letting them play at all. It was killing the game. And that's mostly what I'll remember from this one. There's not there wasn't a huge Herculean effort by anybody. Joel Berry II, he had a pretty good game. But, again, it'll all be overshadowed by what happened with the refs. Just don't understand why they were calling such a chippy game. Raftery and Nance and Hill were on the call. They were demanding for them to just let him play, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't in the cards. I've never been that bored by that close of a game with everything on the line. Shout outs to the Tar Heels for getting it done, though. They choked on that last shot last season, but they come out and get it done this time around, so they sort of get redemption for that 3 Villanova hit against them last year. And if you're Gonzaga, you don't erase what you're known for now, and that's Adam Morrison on the floor crying at the end of that Sweet 16 game against UCLA. That's still what I remember the most about this program, and it's what really defines them. And speaking of Adam Morris, he was out in attendance yesterday, and he was looking like trash. I gotta call him out on this one, man. He was all sunburnt. He looked a little hungover, if I'm being honest. He was not looking the best. I don't know if he got drunk and fell asleep in the sun earlier that day or something, but he was not looking. He was not looking so great, and considering that's the first time anybody's seen him in probably 5 years, you gotta come better than that, man. He was wearing a Gonzaga jersey or something, shirtless underneath it. It was not a good look for him. He was not the most presentable. John Stockton, on the other hand, was in attendance. He was looking good. He was looking a lot better than Adam Morrison. Somehow Adam Morrison looked significantly older than John Stockton, despite the fact that I know that John Stockton is at least 15, 20 years older than Adam Morrison. So it's a shame. All the people from Gonzaga Nation were there, and they just couldn't get it done. Shimon Karnowski, he had a terrible game. He was 1 for 8 from the field. He was missing easy bunnies, it was just not a good game for him. Nigel Williams-Goss, when the game was close towards the end, he suffered what appeared to be like an ankle injury or something like that. So he pulled up for a shot late, and you could tell he just didn't have the legs. But this happened with like a minute 25 left, so it's like obvious you weren't gonna pull him. But yeah, probably a title game we'll forget in like 5 years. Shout out to Roy Williams. He became the only coach to ever win 3 titles at his alma mater, which how many coaches actually coach their alma mater? Like that's not something we see too often. So, I mean, I guess that's impressive. For those of you looking at what's next for a lot of these guys, it's not the NBA. I took a look at a lot of the mock drafts. There wasn't a single lottery pick in this entire game. A lot of people have Zach Collins, one of the guys that comes off the bench for Gonzaga. A lot of people have him going in the first round. Justin Jackson, some people have him in the first round. Some people got him as a second rounder. Isaiah Hicks. Interestingly enough, Joel Berry. I don't know if it's Joel or Joel, quite frankly. I've heard people say both. But interesting enough, no one has him being drafted, so maybe we'll see him pop up in the D-League as a free agent or something like that. But for a guy who just won Most Outstanding Player of the Final Four, it's kind of surprising no one's even looking at him. Probably mostly due to the fact that he's only 6 feet tall. But you think with Isaiah Thomas, people would give the little guys a chance a little more in the NBA now. It's I don't know. He's a pretty decent scorer. I'd at least give him a look. Some people have Perkins and Williams-Goss for Gonzaga going in the second round. And Shimon Karnowski, I don't know. I was just the thought popped in my head. He might make a better tight end in the NFL than an NBA player because he just doesn't have the athleticism to keep up on an NBA court. He barely had it for college. He really just got by off his strength and his ability to make things happen inside. But they kept panning over like they did in the South Carolina game to his dad, who came all the way from Poland to see him play. So good to see. Good to see Gonzaga make it this far. I was kind of rooting for them to win it. I kind of picked them to win it yesterday, but just wasn't in the cards for them today. There's a lot of other stuff going on though outside of the title game. I think that's pretty much all I really got to say about that. It was a pretty boring game overall. Kind of a boring Final Four, not the most exciting storylines. Well, like I said, shout out to Roy Williams for getting done 3 titles. It definitely puts him in the conversation of second best coach of this era. We can have the debate, and me and Rob, when I have him on the show, we probably will, about Boeheim, Calhoun, Williams, who secures that number 2 spot behind Coach K as the best coach of this era. But I think that's a topic for another day. But moving on, Tony Romo apparently is just gonna call it quits on football. This is just breaking news. Just came out in the past hour. Tony Romo apparently is just he's gonna be cut today, and he's gonna pursue a career in broadcasting on television. He's gonna try to be an announcer or color commentator or analyst in studio or something like that. Who knows? But this has to be devastating news if you're the Texans. I know the Texans were like really adamant about not trading for Tony Romo because, like, why would you? And I know the Broncos were as well. I think this is... I'm skeptical about this. I think it might be more of Tony Romo just trying to have a bargaining chip in negotiations, trying to say, well, I don't really want to do this. But for him to, like, have not really played the last few years, and for him to just call it quits out of nowhere like this, and I know I heard a couple rumors leading up to this that he might be thinking about calling it quits, but it's one thing to say you're gonna do it, and it's another to actually do it. Tony Romo, he's clearly one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. So, and there's a job out there for him. There's two pretty good jobs out there for him to take that you have a chance to go to a team, compete for a potential title, which he's never gotten in his career. I'm not sure he's even made it past the first round of playoffs before. Might be like straight Tracy McGrady status, but I'd have to look that up. But all I can remember of Tony Romo is that botched hold he had against Seattle way back, and then the picture of him just sitting there with his head down and everything. You gotta erase that from your legacy. And I remember there was a stretch of time where he just threw the worst pick sixes in the fourth quarter, just going straight Matt Schaub out there. I don't know. This is something. I think it would be a bit silly and short-sighted of him to end his career at this point. There's still a lot for him to accomplish. I know he's got to be itching to get back out there. He hasn't played a full season since, I want to say, 2014. So, what purpose would this serve? But apparently he will be cut today. Yesterday it came out that the Cowboys were going to allow teams to meet and talk with them in order to hopefully work out a trade. I don't know why Dallas thought they could get a trade for this guy. I don't know why they even thought that would be a thing, because the fact of the matter is, I just realized I have something screwed up in the stream. You just gotta correct that real quick. Okay. I don't know if I've mentioned that at all, but this is the first episode of Direct Sports Daily that's being live streamed on YouTube. So, if you want to, from now on, we're going to try to do this every day. If you want to come join and chat and let me know what you think about all the stuff going on, we can make this more of an interactive show. And I think it's going to greatly add to the podcast. So, me screwing up at live streaming aside, back to Tony Romo. Dude, just sign with the Texans. Brock Osweiler's out of the picture there. I just really don't want to see them go into the season with such a stout defense, like great running back, great wide receivers, like C.J. Fedorowicz came on as a tight end. They are literally a quarterback away from being a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and for a franchise that hasn't been around, I think they've been around like 15 years, which is crazy to think about. Like it feels like the Texans are still really new to be, at least, but they've been around 15 years now. It would be good to see them actually compete for a title. I don't think they've ever been on that level. You had Jadeveon Clowney come on last year. You're getting J.J. Watt back. That would be the perfect scenario for Tony Romo to just step into. I know the Broncos, people have been talking about them too. I don't know if that's necessarily the best situation. That defense is aging a bit. You still got Von Miller in his prime, but aside from that, Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, they're getting up there. You've lost a lot of guys. Demaryius Thomas isn't as young as he used to be, and he's not as impactful as he used to be back when they had Peyton Manning with his record-breaking season. I just think the Texans would be a much better fit for Romo. He gets to stay in Texas, but apparently they're going to call this a post-June 1st release. I don't know. I'm just looking at this on the TV. I don't know what that means exactly. Romo's the all-time leader in Cowboys passing yards and TD history. I think that more lends itself to today's style of play more so than anything, and just the fact that Romo's been playing there so long. But I remember back when he was just some undrafted free agent. I think he's out of Eastern Illinois or something like that. But that's enough about Romo. Something I forgot to talk about yesterday. Apparently, Adrian Peterson is visiting with the New England Patriots. So that's pretty cool. It would be interesting to see the best quarterback of this era play with the best wide receiver of this era. The best running back of this era. Having the two, Brady and Peterson, together, that would honestly be a real good fit for Adrian Peterson, because I don't know if he can handle a full workload at this point. I think that's why he's not necessarily getting a lot of the offers he would really like out there. Hold on. It looked like I wasn't recording there for a second, but anyway. Back to Adrian Peterson with the Patriots. It certainly would be interesting to see how he would do with a legitimate passing game as a threat. Like, you got Gronk out there. You got a host of wide receivers who are just quick, good route runners. Edelman, Hogan, Amendola, all those guys combined, and then the rookie who came on last year looked pretty good. I forget his name. I had him on my fantasy team too. I can't remember what his name is. I'm gonna look it up real quick, but while I'm doing that, and he wouldn't have to be the primary back on that team. So, Malcolm Mitchell, that's it. Okay, yeah. He wouldn't have to be an every down back. I also forgot they picked up Brandon Cooks. They got Michael Floyd. Like, yeah, this is with him in the mix there. I think the Patriots would easily repeat. That defense only got better. You still got they might end up holding on to Malcolm Butler. I can't remember. Did they trade him to the Saints? I'll have to look that up real quick. I remember there were talks about them trading him to the Saints. No, they still have him. I remember they picked up Stephon Gilmore. They ended up holding on to the linebacker. God, why am I blanking on all these Patriots names? I guess I'm just not in football mode right now. Like, I got all this basketball on the brain. Dante Hightower, yeah. And they were able to hold on to him, which was huge. You picked up Kyle Van Noy from the Lions midseason. He came on strong for you. This is a team with that defense, and you still got the GOAT at quarterback. Could Brady possibly get 6? Adrian Peterson certainly wouldn't hurt that. I mean, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world splitting carries with Dion Lewis. And yet another name I'm blanking on at running back. James White, yeah. That would be probably the ultimate three-headed monster in the backfield. I think LeGarrette Blount's a free agent, so you wouldn't have that four-headed monster in running back. But who really needs all that? But other things that are going on today. Patrick Ewing is apparently going to be Georgetown's head coach. I find it kind of odd, even though that is his alma mater. He was a superstar at Georgetown. I find that kind of odd. Patrick Ewing, I don't believe he has any head coaching experience. I know he's I don't even remember him being an assistant coach anywhere. I know he's been sort of one of those well, yeah, okay, he was an assistant with the Wizards, Rockets, and Magic for a while. I'm seeing that now. But I don't remember him being the number 2 guy somewhere. It seems to me like he always operated in more of a advisory capacity, sort of how you see a lot of these big men do after their career, sort of how Kareem advises certain guys, and Hakeem Olajuwon will do the same thing. Just when there's a talented young big man in the league, you hear one of these guys come and sort of be his on the court mentor, so to speak. But barely I'm selling Patrick Ewing short. He's been around, but nothing at the collegiate level. So it's weird that they would just give him the head coaching job. It's such a marquee program. Just I know one thing, recruiting is something that he's going to have to hire a hell of a recruiter on that staff to work with him, because how well does he know the AAU landscape? How well does he know these high school coaches? That's going to be something that it'll trip him up if he doesn't have someone who knows the college landscape and knows how to get things done on that level. This is a guy who I'm looking at his history. He hasn't been involved in the college game since the '84 season. It's been all NBA for him. So we'll see what happens with him going forward. If nothing else, it brings a headline to a Georgetown program that really hasn't had much going for it in years. Growing up, Georgetown was always somebody you expected to be one of the top teams in the Big East, but sort of when the Big East sort of imploded, it was left as one of those schools that was sort of didn't get the invite to the ACC because of they don't have the big time football program like a Louisville or Pittsburgh or even a Syracuse, even though like those football programs are the greatest, but they were sort of left in the old Big East with Villanova, and Villanova's pretty much just dominated that with Jay Wright. But we'll see. I'm not going to count Patrick Ewing out. If anybody's going to get it done there, it's going to be him at this point. Like, at least he's bringing some sort of buzz to the program, which is something whoever the previous head coach did not do. Because I'm pretty sure John Thompson III has been there in a while, so I'm relatively sure of that. I have no idea what's been going on in Georgetown for the past few years. I almost forgot they existed. So, one thing I forgot to talk about yesterday, the stupid petty drama in the NBA. I forgot to talk about it because it's stupid and petty. And, yeah, that's that. If you want to know about that, you can Google it. It involves LeBron James, Tristan Thompson, and then JaVale McGee and the Wizards. So, yeah, I'm not going to waste any more of my or your time on that. If you want to waste more of your time on that, feel free. Baseball started for most teams yesterday. The Tigers were not one of them, and much to my chagrin, because their game against the White Sox got postponed. But quick recap of what happened there. It looks like the Dodgers put up 14 runs. By all accounts, Clayton Kershaw looked pretty good. One interesting thing I saw on NBC is apparently Clayton Kershaw makes more money than the entire San Diego Padres roster, which is not surprising, seeing as how I literally could not name a single San Diego Padre. Like, let me just look up and see who they got. I literally have no idea who's on this ball club. Last I checked, Matt Kemp was on there, but like apparently he's not anymore. I don't see him. Not that he's good anymore. Eric Ibar, Will Myers. Yeah, it's literally the only people I've heard of. Apparently they got Jared Weaver, who is like the embodiment of a pitcher who's fallen off. Yeah, like I remember back when Jared Weaver was a great young pitcher. Like people were talking about him and Verlander in the same sentence. Verlander's fallen off a bit, but like Weaver's fallen off a cliff. They got Trevor Cahill, who I don't think he ever turned into anything. I remember him being a big time prospect back in the day, but sitting at that career 4.05 ERA with a 1.36 whip. Not exactly the greatest. And it becomes blatantly apparent why Clayton Kershaw makes more than all of those guys. But baseball. Syndergaard for the Mets. He was pitching 6 shutout innings, but he got a blister. And you know, with these pitchers, like, these sort of things can develop into something huge. So we'll see more about him. Junior Guerrero is going to go to DL with a calf strain. And Bryce Harper now has 4 opening day home runs. Not all yesterday, but like 4 straight opening days with a home run. So shout outs to him. We've been talking about him literally since he was like 14 years old. We knew he was going to be one of the greats, and he's living up to it. It's sort of the LeBron James effect. He just had all this hype coming in and lived up to it. Apparently Kevin Durant might be coming back Saturday, so if you're the Warriors, you kind of need to get him back as quick as possible so you can gear up for this playoff run, sort of ease him back into the swing of things. What else is going on? De'Aaron Fox declares for the NBA draft. No surprise there. Matthews for the Toronto Maple Leafs breaks American rookie goal record. So shouts out to him. Good to see good American hockey players. I feel like the past 12 years, America's sort of reestablishing itself in the game of hockey. Not quite to the level we have in baseball, but and speaking of hockey and in sort of international scene of hockey, apparently the NHL says it's not going to play ball with the Olympics. There was some back and forth between the IOC and the NHL, and the Players Association is really upset about this, but apparently the NHL is not going to allow its players to participate in the Winter Olympics. Typically, the NHL takes about a 3-week break during the Olympics to let players leave and go over and play for their national teams. But looks like we're going to get all amateurs for Olympic hockey, which I think sort of evens the playing field a bit, because I know the top level players, Canada's pretty much got all of them. But who knows? Maybe they have depth too, and they'll still dominate. But I think that's about all there is to talk about today. Again, it's a very busy time in the world of sports. We got the Masters coming up later this week. I forgot to even mention that in yesterday's show, so we'll talk about that. Don't think we're going to see any Tiger Woods in this one. I don't know if they've officially announced that yet, but I don't think he's played in any warm-up tournaments up to this point, so highly doubtful we'll see him. But, yeah, Tar Heels get it done and take the title. And I think I'll end out with this. Apparently LeBron James and Dwayne Wade had some comments about the officiating in last night's game. Let's see what they had to say. Yeah, just okay. So LeBron James says, "Man, I can't watch this anymore. I would like to see the kids decide who wins the game." I mean, bruh. Shaking my head. Dwayne Wade says, "Let these kids play. Put the whistles away." And, yeah. Couldn't agree more. It was disgusting last night. And the fact that that's what everyone remembers about this game and what will go down for it, it's kind of sad. It was just so boring. The fact that I spent less than 10 minutes talking about it, and it was it would have been such a good game otherwise. But hey, that's gonna about do it. Thanks for listening, guys, and thanks for everyone who came to the live stream today. Which, quite frankly, wasn't anybody. I failed to announce I was doing this until like halfway through the show. I like mentioned it, but for those of you who listen to it and want to get more of a visual of what's going on, we got the live stream hooked up now. It'll be archived on youtube.com/directsportsdaily. So I want to thank you for listening, and I will see you tomorrow with more Direct Sports Daily.
This has been another episode of Direct Sports Daily. Thanks for listening, and to keep up with the show, follow us on Twitter at the DSD Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio, or visit our website, www.directsportsdaily.com.
Okay. Podcast. Okay, they're recording the podcast, so how are they gonna cut the stream here? Yeah, having some trouble with the mouse. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow. If I can ever hit the stop streaming button.